What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your review of NXT and 205 Live. So, real quick announcement before we begin. This Saturday is, of course, AEW's Fyter Fest, and I, for one, cannot wait to see this event. I wouldn't want to say pay-per-view because it is free, so it's not a pay-per-view, it is a free per-view, if that's a thing. I will be doing who should win versus who will win at Fyter Fest this Saturday, few short hours before the actual event. I will be going live with armbar audio on the Nerdy Mark channel, so be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited to talk about Fyter Fest this weekend, but yeah, just can't wait. Hope to see some of you guys there. But with that being said, let's dive right into this week's WWE Network shows, starting with NXT. NXT did begin with the first match in the NXT Breakout Tournament. It's still round one, of course. And it is, of course, Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza, the former Humberto Garza, who, by the way, is the cousin of Humberto Carrillo. So, go figure. This was a really good match. Now, I know these two men have done a lot of stuff outside of WWE and the indies and whatnot. Unfortunately, I've not watched either of their matches outside of WWE. This is my first exposure to them, so I am extremely impressed if this is the kind of talent that's lingering around in the Performance Center. We do have Garza playing the cocky heel while Wilde plays the overcoming babyface. Fantastic match. Great way to start off NXT, but not a good way to start off my review because Samus got knocked over. I'll just put her back there. Wilde starting off with a delayed inverted suplex, and then we had some great agility by both men, some creative offense by Wilde from the turnbuckle, which looked just amazing. Garza then kind of took control by hitting kind of a modified version of the Deep Six, and then a pop-up knee strike, which looked gnarly. Garza doing a little showboating because he had, some pants on, and he just kind of ripped them off to reveal his trunks. Ladies, Beth Phoenix was just, having the time of her life, if you know what I mean. Garza did put Wilde in a straitjacket, which Wilde did reverse, and then Wilde did hit some more creative offense, along with a fantastic suicide dive through the turnbuckle, which looked so cool. I loved it. That was just fantastic stuff. Garza finally did hit a beautiful looking avalanche Spanish fly, and then a double underhook butterfly stunner to seal the deal and finally win the match. So great showing by both these men. Really excited to see where both these talents go from here on out. So up next, we did get a quick vignette from Kushida. He is speaking in Japanese for a little bit in the beginning, and then finally does transition over to English. Kind of is just waiting for his next opponent, so maybe he could be in action next week. Now, I just want to say that, I guess, in retrospect, I do like the way they've been booking Kushida. I know he's kind of, being undefeated right now, which is a good thing. I'm kind of glad that's how they are booking him for the time being. I can definitely see him going up against someone like the Velveteen Dream if he's still North American champion, or even Adam Cole, Bay eventually, and get the NXT title off of him. So I mean, maybe it won't be Kushida who gets the title off of Cole, but whoever takes the title off of Cole, that person versus Kushida for the NXT title, because there are so many people who can take that title off of Adam Cole. Other matches that I would love to see would definitely be Kushida versus Keith Lee, Kushida versus Matt Riddle, Kushida versus Johnny Gargano, Kushida versus Roderick Strong, and even Kyle O'Reilly. So those are some good matches that I think we could get from Kushida. But really excited to see what the Time Splitter has to offer in NXT. Well, not to offer, but really excited to see what they do with Kushida going forward. Up next, we have our NXT Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, scheduled to take on the Forgotten Sons, Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. The Profits do cut a promo on the Sons, and they put their tag team titles on the line. So this was a decent match. It was pretty short. Cutler and Blake did start things off by beating up Montez Ford. Sons hit a decent looking tag team onto Ford. Dawkins tagging in and taking it to Cutler and Blake. Profits do hit a double team, but Riker does get involved to give the Street Profits the DQ win, after which all three members of the Forgotten Sons start beating up on the Street Profits. Only Lorcan and Danny Burch come in. They, fend off the Forgotten Sons, but do kind of stake their claim to the NXT Tag Team titles. I really would love to see Only Lorcan and Danny Burch as NXT Tag Team Champions at some point in their career, before Only Lorcan fully transitions over into a 205 Live superstar. We then got a very, very short vignette of a man with long hair watching something on a movie projector, and then the movie projector kind of flashed onto his face for just a little bit to reveal Killian Dane. So it looks like Killian Dane of Sanity is finally returning to NXT. So now we have Alexander Wolf on NXT UK with Imperium, and now we have Killian Dane crew returning to NXT. This should be awesome. I am just hoping that it is a matter of time before Eric Young and Nikki Cross follow suit. Next up, we had a match between Nikos Rikos, that's what I have on my notes, versus the limitless one, Keith Lee. Bask in his glory. And I love it every time he comes out because I love that man's theme song. Extremely short match here. Lee does begin by conducting the crowd by having them sing Bask in His Glory to the tune of Seven Nation Army. And Rikos basically just pokes the bear and pays for it because Keith Lee hits kind of a version of the running power slam. But before that, he does bellow, "My NXT," and then slams Rikos onto the mat. I really like this match. It was a squash match, but it was really good. Looking forward to seeing what they do with Keith Lee. I know I say looking forward to see what they do, but that's literally all I can say because I really want to see Keith Lee in the North American title picture, at least in the coming few months. If they could do that, that would be great.
Give me what I want!
And finally, it is time for our huge main event. We have Shayna Baszler, the women's champion, the NXT women's champion, taking on the genius of the sky, Io Shirai, for the third time. This time in a steel cage match. And oh my god, what a fantastic match. I would say this was on par with Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano in that steel cage match as well. It was good stuff. I just absolutely loved it. Baszler was wearing MMA gloves as kind of a tribute to her MMA background. And of course, it's a cage and MMA fights take place in a cage. There you go. There's the connection. No love lost between both these women. Shayna Baszler takes Io Shirai to Rest Hold City early on. Io showing off some athleticism, which was always great to see from this woman. Shayna then just starts beating the hell out of Shirai using the mat, using the cage. Then Shirai does try to climb out, but Baszler does catch her on the turnbuckle and hits the Kira Fuda clutch on the turnbuckle and then throws Shirai off the cage when she shows some resilience, of course. Shirai did try to escape through the door, but Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir did show up and lock the cage in, and Shirai does try to climb out. Shafir climbs up the cage to intercept her. Candice LeRae shows up to try to even out the odds. Shayna is down, but she gets back up and beats the crap out of Candice LeRae. And then we have Shirai hitting a huge moonsault onto Shayna Baszler, which just looked fan-freaking-tastic. The whole crowd was chanting "Yowie Wowie," and I personally do echo their sentiments. I'm pretty sure that's what Bray Wyatt would have said if he was watching this match. Just let him in, folks. Just let him in. We have Io and Shayna trying to escape through the door, so it's like a I don't want to say tug of war, but it's just like them trying to keep each other away from the cage, and then so that they can get the advantage. Shirai does reach the cage, but Shayna does put the Kira Fuda clutch on the bottom rope, and in a move of desperation, Shirai gets the cage door and slams it many times onto Shayna Baszler, who falls forward outside of the cage to finally win the match and retain her NXT Women's title. So she basically escaped by hair, and finally, the other horsewomen take her out. LeRae tries to console Io Shirai, but Io Shirai this time has none of it. She takes out some frustration on LeRae, then goes outside, grabs a steel chair, beats the ever-living fudge out of her, then grabs the chair and suplexes LeRae onto the chair while yelling angry Japanese words, and has like an evil grin on her face. So Io Shirai has officially turned heel, and she says, "I don't need friends," and starts yelling in angry Japanese. And she even mentions Kairi, so I guess she's saying that the only friend she ever had was Kairi, so she doesn't need friends. And she's like, "I don't care, shut up," and being a bit of a bitch to the crowd, And I'm excited to see what heel Io Shirai has to offer. Back to the whole, I'm excited to see where this goes. But this looks really cool. I know she did some heel work when she was in Stardom, and even when she was in Lucha Underground for a while. So I'm wondering how her heel persona will translate in NXT, but only time will tell. Hopefully we'll see it. I mean, this was actually one of the leaked footage that we had that Io Shirai turned heel, and we did get a glimpse of her new attire and her new theme music. I'm not gonna spoil it, but we'll see it next week. But hopefully next week. With that being said, though, that's pretty much the end of NXT. Let's move on to 205 Live. 205 Live does begin with Gentleman Jack Gallagher taking on Mike Kanellis in a very good match. I like this one a lot. It was a lot of fun, showing two different styles of wrestling. That's always fun. But Gallagher did start off already with a submission, which Kanellis countered, which obviously got them into a lot of mat wrestling in the beginning, which was always fun. Kanellis then hit a submission, but Gallagher did escape with some bicycle kicks. So that was pretty innovative from the gentleman himself. Jack Gallagher shows a lot of his core strength on the turnbuckle, and the match does kind of spill to the outside. Maria Kanellis does distract Jack Gallagher, allowing Mike to suplex Jack onto the outside. A lot of rest hold city from Mr. Kanellis himself. Then Kanellis showing off a lot more aggression, as it is his MO. Gallagher's momentum is just completely stopped by Kanellis when he is going back and forth on the ropes, but Kanellis, bam, super kicks him, and Kanellis tries to pin him by grabbing a hold of Gallagher's tights, but the ref catches it and calls it a 2 count. He gets distracted, Kanellis does, and this allows Gallagher to headbutt a distracted Mike Kanellis and finally pin him for the 1, 2, 3. And then Mike Kanellis kind of just tells Maria, "I'm done," kind of removes his gloves and exits out of the building Shield style. So I guess this means Mike Kanellis is kayfabe quit 205 Live. I guess building a lot more intrigue into this storyline. So on NXT, we did see Angel Garza, and now it's time for his cousin, Humberto Carrillo, who is just as equally handsome as Angel Garza, continues to make it harder for me to find a girlfriend. He takes on Rob Rolenbeck, a local talent there, and this was a okay match. It was pretty much a squash match. More athleticism by Carrillo, but Carrillo does finally win with a top rope move, which I don't think was the Aztec drop. So that was interesting. I'm surprised to see Humberto Carrillo in this position after having high-profile matches with the likes of Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher. He's put in a position where all he's doing is kind of, beating enhancement talent. So I guess they're kind of building him up a little bit more. So I guess, like I said, we'll see where this goes, and hopefully this leads to an eventual title shot for Humberto Carrillo. Who knows? It is now time for our main event. Tony Nese, the former Cruiserweight Champion, taking on Akira Tozawa. Now, the winner of this match will get a match at Extreme Rules against Drew Gulak for, of course, the Cruiserweight Championship. Gulak, of course, won it at Stomping Grounds last Sunday. So this was a great barn burner of a match. Please do seek this one out. This was fantastic stuff here. A lot of fast-paced action to begin with. Then we had Tozawa trying for a suicide, and Tony Nese did get out of the way, but Tozawa did connect from the apron, so that was really cool. Enough more rest hold city by both these men, mainly by Tony Nese. Tozawa did hit a suicide dive again, sending Nese over the announce table this time, so that was a lot more effective. Tozawa then gets Nese in the octopus hold. Nese then reverses it with a driver of sorts. More fast-paced action. Again, the more fast-paced action, the merrier. I just love that stuff. Nese does barely dodge a senton attempt by Akira Tozawa. Then Tozawa does dodge the running Nese twice, and Tozawa does try to attack, but Nese does catch him with a reversal pile driver of sorts as well. and does win the match. So he doesn't win it with the running knees. He wins it with like kind of a reverse reverse backpack pile driver. It looked like a inverted backpack stunner. That's kind of what it looked like. So I mean, it looked good though. But Nese does win the match. He's going to Extreme Rules to take on Drew Gulak. This should be a really good match. So overall, I did really enjoy both shows this week. I thought they both brought it to the table. It was just fantastic. I think definitely with Fyter Fest around the corner and even AEW not too far behind, like, the TV episodes, I think Triple H is really ramping it up in his territory with NXT and 205 Live and even NXT UK. So I'm really excited for that. But as far as matches of the night, I am absolutely going to say for NXT, it was the steel cage match between Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler. Amazing action from both these women. And of course, finally capping it off with a fantastic heel turn from Io Shirai. Looking forward to see what happens next week with Io. And I guess her first shoot going in is with Candice LeRae. That should be a really good match. I can't wait for that. On 205 Live, of course, Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa. Really good match by both these men. Again, progressing the storyline further, where Tony Nese looks for redemption against Drew Gulak. So we'll see what happens at Extreme Rules for that. And of course, looks like TakeOver Toronto is also shaping up to be really good with Shirai and LeRae all but confirmed for that event, or probably a week prior. Either way, that match is going to be fantastic. Really happy with both shows this week. So that pretty much concludes my review for NXT and 205 Live. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, don't forget this Saturday I am going live with Armbar Audio on this channel for live Who Should Win versus Who Will Win at Fyter Fest. Really excited for that. But anyway, with that being said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.